So, good morning once again. Karin made a very nice introduction to our panel, actually. So basically, two main questions or connotation. Is there actually life outside of ICT? So, and another sort of real nice notion from Karin was if you want to change the world, so be in biotech or in energy or any other places, but not in ICT. So this is kind of interesting conclusion what I made. So our panel, it's okay. Our panel basically will be like a warning panel for ICT persons and young entrepreneurs who are actually developing companies. Today afternoon and tomorrow we will talk a lot about gaming, social networks, ICT, software, products, business models. But our panel actually will be like a warning, so be careful. There may be hype in this particular sector. So it's very interesting. Maybe we just take this title of our panel, which is basically hot segments. Hot segments, obviously, social networking, social games, software developments, etc. But what is actually impact to sort of traditional sectors or other technology-related sectors, energy and biotech, for example. So we are going to understand is there any hype or not and what kind of impact it would give. So for example, I just put one picture, collection of pictures you probably recognize. It is Instagram favorites of day. So basically, if you look into the business model and technology of Instagram and basically acquired by Facebook with $1 billion, so basically it's a kind of interesting story. You pay $1 billion for just very easy and very simple technology for sharing pictures. So, and this is kind of question, is this kind of hype or not? So, and we are trying to discuss, is there any hype and what you should do? Have you thought about or not, and is there any things you
Maybe the battery
have to take
is empty.
into account? So, and I have just another slide for you just to think about. So this is kind of situation currently in Silicon Valley. I'm visiting Silicon Valley quite often, basically 3-4 times every year. And last time when I came from Silicon Valley, it was kind of really crazy situation. Everybody were talking about should buy stocks of Facebook or not, and how many stocks, and should I sell my house, or even all kind of people were actually discussing to should they buy stocks of Facebook or not. But this is basically again comes to the sort of back to the situation of hypes what we have seen previously as well, and this is where it connects very nicely with a very famous song. From very famous singer, David Bowie, who actually already has this kind of idea regarding back to the same problem once again. So we are living in terms of technologies very much in different hypes of social and software and maybe biotech, and nano was a hype also maybe 5 years ago. So let's talk about these hypes and what it means for a business modeling as well. And regarding these different hypes, probably Ott Pärna is going to talk about even more about different hypes in green and other industries as well. And this is famous Gartner hype cycle, which gives you sort of understanding. And you probably see the end of the new hype or starting curve. Again, we have a speech recognition technologies, location-aware applications. Currently, you have Siri application in your iPhone. You have similar application in Samsung mobile phones. Even Samsung telephones and also TVs actually have sort of voice recognition capabilities. So you'll see a lot of these technologies emerging, but still in terms of value creation, it's not clear, is it going to be sort of dominant technology business model or not. So definitely what we see actually in the world in terms of global R&D, software actually, it is like eating out of the world. So basically if you would take all this money what goes to software and put into biotech or energy sector, probably we all would have already sort of electric cars, or we would have nice drugs for HIV or for a cancer at least. So what I recommend you is to read actually what Steve Blank recently put in his blog. A very nice title of this article, actually, Why Facebook is Killing Silicon Valley. And this is very deep, actually, discussion what kind of impacts this kind of social network-based business model gives to the Silicon Valley, but also to other technologies and industries. And then I have a link for you as well. And this is Steve actually gave me a very nice interview regarding this topic just months ago. So this is kind to understand what is going on. But still, if you go back to Facebook, so it is kind of interesting story. You see how dominant it is. This is 500 million people, sort of data-based picture, how actually this social networking is going on. So it's visualization data of friendship. But just don't make mistakes. This is just only one social network sort of business model. This is not whole industry. And in terms of, for example, biopharma, it's not so glorious as well. So we have problems also, same problems in this sector as well. In biopharma, for example, it's not anymore so easy to develop new drugs. So it's getting much more money. You need much more money, much more time. So again, versus in ICT area, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 1 month, you can already develop application and test with first clients. But this is not the case in biopharma at least. But in terms of biopharma, it's very nice sort of statistics what gives you, it is kind of shift to open innovation mode biopharma is going. So for example, in terms of, I give you next slide, for example, in terms of revenues or sales generated by biopharma corporations. So it is actually based on smart startup companies, cooperation, or at least on licensing on outside companies and technologies. So you see this biopharma industry is really shifting into sort of a kind of open innovation paradigm, which is very common for ICT companies, especially in Silicon Valley. So just only a couple of slides about the statistics as well. So when we talk about long tail opportunities versus hot segments, so global R&D in terms of total life sciences has actually increased quite nicely, so 5–10% in US or globally. So if you look in terms of software, the change has been also quite significant, but not so dramatic as we would expect when we talk about global or US R&D spending on software, internet, computer. But in terms of energy, definitely we see sort of kind of very stable sort of R&D spending. So it's not kind of boom, definitely in energy sector at all in terms of R&D and investment. And I'm not going into deep these slides, but in terms of bio and life sciences technologies, you see very special sectors which are actually sort of dominating. For example, medical implants or automated healthcare. This is really cool topic. And also in energy technology, probably smart grid is something everybody is talking about. So internally in sectors, there are a lot of hot segments also in energy and biotech. Also, if you take software in general, of course, social network-based games and services, this is one segment inside the whole industry. So in terms of R&D, should we sort of agree that there is no hype, but there is a kind of normal development? So probably this is kind of a wrong assumption, because in case of hype, during the hype you invest more on exploitation. Basically you take money out of it, and then you probably put more focus on business model innovation, not technology development itself. But let's talk about this in our panel, is this true or not? But it is definitely, if you take ICT, very fast development, so ROI is definitely much better in these areas than in the bio or energy field. So definitely some slides more about statistics. When you take 2010, this was our first year actually from the 2000, when actually there was an equal investment in ICT and biopharma. So it is kind of stable, and we could say in terms of sectors there is no such kind of hype. And biotechnology venture capital investment actually goes very much in the same line with software or computer related business models. So it is going up, but of course after 2008 there is a sharp sort of decline in terms of venture interest in this sector as well. But biopharma in general, if you look into the revenue, which is like bars here, is it red or yes, orange? It's going up, but look at a line in terms of sort of revenue growth rate, it's really getting down. So of course, if you compare to, for example, social networking or any other sort of revenue growth sort of models, so you get a different understanding. So just I would like to conclude, so this kind of introduction, so probably we will see next year or two back to new normal, basically. In my mind, so all these social networking applications will cool down very, very much, and you will see a lot of people still continuing changing the world, basically going back or remaining in energy and as well biotech areas or any other industries as well. So this was a very short intro from my side. Basically, we want to understand, is there any hype or not? Do you have to take care about your ICT business model, or you should worry or not? And now I ask every panelist to make a 7-minute pitch introduction, if you will. And first we ask Ott Pärna, who is going to make sort of a future trends presentation. So what future will bring for us? Ott is a really great founder of Estonian Development Fund. It is a kind of first governmental agency who actually deals with venture capital investment in Estonia, and also Ott was responsible for developing foresight sort of platform or capability in Estonia, in Estonian Development Fund. So he's a pioneering governmental venture capital and foresight exercise development professional in Estonia. So Ott, please, floor is yours, and we would like to see many future trends as possible. Thank you.